Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I am back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong Land 2 for the Game Boy. So last time we did manage to able to finish up with the forms of the 6th world in this game by the forms of the Flying Croc. In addition to that though, we beat the likes out of the forms of Captain K. Rool, and on top of all that stuff though, we've rescued Donkey Kong for the 2nd time. Well, technically the 3rd time, for the sake of the forms of our channel anyway. So, because of that though, yay, if you probably get the idea if you watched our Let's Plays of Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3. So that's why I classify that. So today, this will be the finale in terms of Donkey Kong Land 2, and because of that though, we are about to be getting started with the true final world in the game by simply popping over to see Clopper right here in Clopper's kiosk, which basically, remember all these creme coins that we actually did collected about? Well, we need all 47 of these coins instead of like paying 15 coins each time if you manage able to go into other worlds in between. So as you can tell, that, yeah, we have to pay all that stuff, because what's crazy about this is, unlike the Super Nintendo counterparts, that simply we got able to select one level for each and every single world, whilst in here though, if you do manage to pay all of these creme coins, you unlock the world for free. Well, usually if you complete the first level first, and then you move on to the next. So, I do really like this, especially noticeable, I don't need to able to backtrack for a lot, especially noticeable if you try to keep on paying, you know, Funky Kong for its Funky's Flight 2 or something like that, because obviously you need to pay like 2 banana coins each time on the Super Nintendo counterparts. So yeah, here we are, on to the final world in the game, the true final world I should say, not what appears to be the Lost World. So, and I believe, if I recall correctly, each and every single level does retain one bonus area. So here we go, on to Jungle Jinx. So of course every now and then is the fact that every single level themes every now and then is going to be, for the majority, is going to be the jungle, and one time for the ice level, and one time for the lava, just like in the forms of the Super Nintendo counterparts. So, anyways, let's get to it with the forms of Jungle Jinx, and for some reason they do have ourselves Sticker Bush Symphony music in the background, which appears to be the exact same music choice as the forms of how it does it on the Bramble base levels. So, but honestly I don't mind about it though, especially noticeable. Well, I still kind of prefer the Super Nintendo version of that music, mainly because of my nostalgia reasons. So anyways, there's the bonus area down there, and every time whenever you complete the bonus area, then sure enough your reward is a bit different, because rather than collecting the creme coins, now we need to collect the DK hero coins. So that basically summarizes the forms of that. You know, we don't need to worry about the forms of, you know, keep on collecting those creme coins in order able to actually just to progress or anything. So it's just a matter of trying to get, you know, the DK hero coins, and that's pretty much about it. So yeah, you probably get the idea of how this is going if you watched our Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country 2 already. So yeah, you get the idea of how this is going. So, of course, we got the midway point, so that should be all good and all things considered. So, yeah, a few things I want to explain for this point today, and that is the fact that today's day is, of course, the final day of the forms of March for this year. In this case, the 31st of March today, in this case in 2022 today, and then at this point until the fact that until tomorrow, in addition with the April Fool's Day, but also, get this, is the fact that on the UK country, which is the country I lived in right now, still, is the fact that the Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, is going to be releasing tomorrow in the UK. And I was like super excited about this, especially noticeable I've been waiting for that sequel for such a long time, especially noticeable after the events of the first film has been ended. Well, obviously I'm not going to spoil things majorly, because, well, usually relatively speaking, that the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie just obviously came out 2 years ago, so I don't think I can able to bring up some spoiler territory, and same applies to the forms of the sequel as well, which I know for the fact that most of any other regions already got the film already, so I don't think I can probably able to tell you the spoilers. So, but I've somehow I managed to ignore those. So anyway, so let's move on to the next level, I should say, which appears to be buddy forms of, well, ice black ice battle. So obviously this takes place in the forms of the icy caverns, and just like in the previous level, only one bonus area to be found. So because yeah, and unlike in any other levels, for the sake of the forms of Donkey Kong Land 2, that thankfully though, you don't need to worry about just trying to keep on like exploring most of the actual stages. You're able to try to find, you know, the DK Hero coin, because, well, luckily for you, the DK Hero coins are always going to be on the bonus areas. So yeah, because relatively speaking, you don't need to worry about the forms of a lot of emphasis on exploration here and there. So yeah, as far as I'm aware already, is the fact that the Lost World is simply the hardest world in the game for most people. That's only mainly because of how the fact that, well, the level layout is a little bit different than the console counterpart, but regardless of everything else though, it's just the fact that it might be still a bit tough at times, especially with, you know, screen crunch comes into play and all that jazz. So anyways, let's go ahead and, jeez, I get hit by that zinger right here. Now I just need to be very careful with Diddy Kong right here, because if I somehow get hit by any zingers or anything else for that matter, then I have to do the entire... Well, thankfully we've got the, oh, okay, so there's the checkpoint barrel right there, so, I think we should be okay as it is. So yeah, let's go and use Dixie Kong for the majority of the level, because obviously she was awesome to play as. So yeah, I suppose that's probably just that. So anyways, let's go and grab some more bunch of bananas up there, and just slowly... What? Ah, damn, I did not notice the bottomless pit can kill me. Oh, wait a second, it's probably because the forms of screen crunch resolution, so... I totally forgot about that. Even especially noticeable that down there, I think that what appears to be also bottomless pit, so... yeah, let's not mess this up this time, so, just need to be very careful right here, so, oh boy. Okay, not doing too bad, but, oh jeez, okay. But, I get a strong feeling that we pretty much, well, almost nearly at the end, so it's just the fact that I have to time my jumps carefully until I don't run into those enemies quite a lot, and, at least we got ourselves the OG kind of stuff, so, yeah. Well, the only reason being for this is because I just couldn't be bothered able to get the Kong letters, and yeah, unfortunately though, similar to the forms of how it does on a console counterpart for the likes of Donkey Kong Country 2, basically my lives has been reset back into the forms of, let's just say, 5 lives or something like that, so... Alright, next level we have is Furry Furnace, so... obviously, this level is going to brings us into... Actually, no way. I just realized something. Unlike the console version of Donkey Kong Country 2 on the Super Nintendo, along with the Game Boy Advance remake as well, is the fact that in Furry Furnace, basically the main gimmick on that particular games is the fact that we have to rely on the forms of the controllable barrels by simply, you know, with the forms of the directional pad icon on the actual barrel. That way you can able to actually move whatever you wanted to for the sake of the forms of which specific barrel you want to blast into. Whilst in here though, basically all it gets is just barrel blasting, including the actual the balloon that we can able to hop into, very similar to the forms of in one of those levels from the likes of in World 2. So yeah, nothing different from there I don't think. So alright, so this is where things gets a bit tricky, especially noticeable because, well, if you mess up at any point for the actual, the barrel blasting segments, then obviously you're gonna have to able to do a lot of trial and error in there, so... oh jeez, that was close. But, luckily, we've managed able to come across into ourselves Squidder, the spider, so we can able to actually just to, once again, just create webs as platforms and all that stuff, so yeah, you probably get the gist of it, so... actually, kind of think about it is the fact that with those animal buddies in mind, that unfortunately though, is the fact that we have, well, to be honest for this point, is the fact that, do you remember the forms of in one of those levels in the previous worlds? Like, I think I would say from the forms of Arctic Abyss, that basically though is the fact that that was actually the true definition of the final time we'll be seeing Unguard the Swordfish. Although, don't get me wrong, we will still come across into him until whenever we get into Donkey Kong Land 3. But as far as I'm aware, another one of those animal bodies that we're not going to see for such a long time, which is of course body forms of, let me think here. Oh yeah, Squawks the Parrot, until specifically Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Land 3, I should say, because, well, relatively speaking, that we're pretty much done with the Super Nintendo trilogy, so because we are moving on to the Land trilogy, and after that, we can pretty much move on to Donkey Kong 64, if we managed able to do that. So, but luckily, we've managed to go on the Wii U eShop, so that way we can able to do it there. Apart from the fact that, well, we can't do it on the N64 cartridge version, due to the fact that with the forms of the game sometimes slows down, so... yeah, that... Whoa! Jesus Louise! I somehow managed to get lucky, and on top of all that stuff though, there's the bonus area right here. So we should be able to find the token, or to be more specifically, the DK Hero coin. Oh jeez, this particular bonus area can be a bit tricky though, if only because of with the forms of the screen crunch here and there. But regardless of such, we have made it. Nicely done for my jumping skills. As far as, you know, using Dixie Kong regardless. Alright, so I think that we've almost nearly at the end for the Lost World. So in this case, the next level we have is Clopper Connect. So basically we are going back into the jungle environment ever since in Jungle Jinx. And of course that, you know, sticker bush Symphony music was actually in the background still. So I honestly still don't mind about it, so... anyways, in this level's gimmick is the fact that we have to rely on the forms of a lot of emphasis on cloppers that are trying to push you off onto certain situations. But, honestly, with Dixie's ponytail helicopter ability, it should make the level a bit easier and stuff like that, so... but as long as we can able to actually just to stun them by simply jumping onto the barrels and stuff like that, so... anyways, let's go ahead and, oh god, another barrel blasting, so... this is gonna get a little bit ridiculous, but... luckily though, if you messed up at that shot, thankfully there was actually a mid-air control that you can able to actually just to still move a little bit, so just in case you can able to get adjustment to the landing, so at the very least that's that, so... I suppose I should probably mention about something about this as well, I guess. That is the fact that recently I've managed able to go back into Sonic Adventure on my PlayStation 3 version, despite the fact that I lost everything back in the forms of in last year in August, probably because the forms of the stupid two-step verification and stuff like that, which I somehow managed to have a lot of complications for that point. But recently I've managed able to actually finally managed able to complete it. Mission mode on my own time, and let me tell you, it is a pain, especially noticeable on Mission 53, you know, when Sonic just trying to able to do, you know, snowboarding down across the forms of ice cap level, and basically we need to able to get a exact super ski jumps, and because of that though, if you time it well enough on that super jumps, if you manage to go bypass those, not only for the trios of rings, but also two flags, which actually represents the target of that particular line you have to go across, and then basically that way you can complete that mission from there. It actually took me 11 attempts to able to complete that mission, because let me tell you, that mission is a pain in the backside. Although, ironically enough, is the fact that the 54 mission with Tails trying to able to get the flags during the course of the ice cap level as well, ironically enough, it took me 3 attempts as I thought it was, because I remember back in the day that when I played the GameCube version of Sonic Adventure DX, I had a lot of horror stories when it comes to likely trying to deal with that godforsaken mission, because you have to be so precise in order to able to actually get the flags and all that stuff though. Well, my best advice for me though is the fact that I highly recommend do not able to actually get the emblems based off from collecting 50 rings and stuff like that, and then beat Sonic towards the end, and also beat the faster version of Sonic and stuff like that. So, just to give you a heads up. So, anyways, let's move on to the last platforming level before we get into the true final boss of the game. That's what appears to be this, everyone thinks about the fact that this is the hardest level in the whole entire game. and that's what appears to be Animal Antics. And basically, unfortunately though, is the fact that unlike the Super Nintendo counterpart, normally you weren't going to be playing as every single animal buddies throughout the game, ranging from Rambi, the rhinoceros, and same applies to Ungod, the swordfish, and same applies to the forms of Squidward, the spider, and Rattly, the rattlesnake, and of course, Squawks, the parrot, but somehow they managed to cut this level into half by only picking 3 animal buddies. So this will be the last time we're going to be seeing Rambi, the rhinoceros, because until Donkey Kong Land 3, basically though is the fact that he will be replaced by Ellie the elephant. So, well, at least until whenever we get to that game. And as far as I'm aware, this will be the last time we're going to be able to take control of the forms of Squidward the spider in this game, until when he decides to come back from the likes of in Donkey Kong Land 3. So, and by that time, that will be the final time we're going to be seeing, you know, Rattly the rattlesnake in this game, because it's especially noticeable that we're not going to see him. So, yeah, it's kind of a shame, but regardless of such though, and also one thing is worth noting for, rather than divide it into a few sections, unlike the Super Nintendo counterpart, so instead it's just one set piece, and that's what appears to be the jungle environment. So there's no alterations with these transitions between animal buddies alike. So in this case though, there's no, let's just say, there's no bramble section, there's no icy cavern section, and especially noticeable there is no castle section. So it's just literally the jungle environment, and that's pretty much about it. So again, this is mainly because of the limitations of the Game Boy, so I honestly don't complain about it too much, but it might be a bit bothersome for those who are the biggest fan of Donkey Kong Country 2 to begin with, but it knows where it stands. Alright, so here we go on to the final bonus area in the whole entire game. So of course, as to be expected, one bonus area is accessible by not only Squidward the spider, but also you can able to actually decide to jump off a little bit and try to find the actual whole way until it actually leads us to the final bonus area in the whole entire game. And of course, we actually got 39 of those DK Hero coins, but that's not to say we're not done with this yet though, because I think we've only got one DK Hero coin left, and that's what appears to be on the final boss of the game. So, and of course we now ended up on the final section of the level by taking control of the forms of Rattly the rattlesnake, so hopefully this particular section wasn't too bad, all things considered, because after all, I'm pretty sure this level might be a bit lengthy, but nowhere near as lengthy or tough as the forms of how it does it on the Super Nintendo counterpart, or even the Game Boy Advance version for that matter. So here it is, there's the final gold spring, so we can just boing for the final time, until that pretty much leads us to the true final level in the game, in addition to the final boss as well. But first, before we deal with all that stuff, let me just go ahead and pop over to Kong College for the final time, so that way we can save our game, and we actually are 99%. So, yeah, only 1% left, which actually leads us to, like I said, the final boss, in this case the final level in the game, Crocodile Core. So in this case though, I believe we're about to be fighting against with Captain K. Rool for the second time, or technically the 4th time for our channel. So in this case though, yeah, just like the Super Nintendo counterpart, we need to have a rematch against with Captain K. Rool, except now it takes place in a lava setting this time? I don't get it. So anyway though, for this particular final battle, you can't really do anything aside from the fact that we have to dodge a lot of cannon fires. So, you know, just like the Super Nintendo counterpart. So, yeah, you probably expected by this point. And this is by far still is the hardest fight in the game. So because of how the fact that, you know, relatively speaking, at this point in time, he now starts able to fire cannon shots by random patterns and stuff like that. And also he moves way too fast like these ones, so... But for the most part though, if you pretty much know exactly what you're doing, then you should able to do this boss fight no problem, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, I'm pretty sure we're almost at the final phase. I'm pretty sure this is the final phase, I guess. So yeah, we have to able to jump as soon as when the cannonball and the spiky ball are actually in sync to each other. So yeah, you have to do just that. And after that though, there's a barrel containing a cannonball and shoot it right at the Captain K roll. And we got the final DK Hero coin, and that pretty much does it. From the likes of Donkey Kong Land 2 for the Game Boy. Also, this ending reminds me of so much of Sonic Blast for the Game Gear because of the forms of not only you see the island somehow explodes, but yeah, you get the idea. Yay, we are the #1! Eat that, Mario! Oh, not really, because Mario is awesome. So, yeah, because basically we've now got 40 DK Hero coins, so we are the true hero. So basically we went to 0 to hero kind of scenario, because I actually make that reference from the likes of, you know, Hercules, because obviously that particular film will be officially become 25 years old this year, until specifically this coming June on North America. So, yeah, that's basically how this goes. So yeah, let's give my final thoughts of Donkey Kong Land 2 for the Game Boy. Honestly, despite it does have some issues, I will say, this game is certainly so good. Although it's nowhere near as amazing as the forms of how it does it on the Super Nintendo counterpart, Donkey Kong Country 2. That's only mainly because this is on the Game Boy, of course. And on top of all that stuff though is the fact that they did missing some features though. To be more specifically with there's no quiz games this time around though, meaning about the fact that grinding extra lives is a bit harder than it looks. And I think, fundamentally speaking, is the fact that, relatively speaking, well, the gameplay itself, it still looks practically the same as the forms of how it does it on, not only Donkey Kong Land 1, but also Donkey Kong Country 2 as well. So, at the very least, the gameplay still looks very solid. So, and the story is pretty much exactly the same as the Super Nintendo version, or the Super Nintendo counterpart, so nothing different from there. And, also, on top of all that stuff though, is the fact that the graphics themselves, well, look a bit weird at first on the handheld, but I will say it does manage able to fit in on the handheld quite just fine. And the soundtrack, it's basically pretty cool and awesome at the same time, even though it's a bit weird about the fact that we actually go on to the 8-bit rendition, almost, for this actual soundtrack. Because honestly, I do kind of prefer the Super Nintendo version of the soundtrack a lot more better. Most notably because of this atmospheric and all that stuff though. And thus, certain track lists are a bit limited. That's only mainly because it was on a handheld to begin with. So because of that though, unfortunately we didn't get a chance to get to hear some of the most iconic music from the Super Nintendo counterparts, which I honestly don't mind it. But regardless of such though, and the controls wise, they are pretty fine for the most part, even though there are quite a few times that I somehow messed up with the forms of platforming jumps and all that stuff though. But aside from that, yeah, this game is pretty good. I will say this right now. But there are a few issues I have with the game, such as for instance with screen crunch is still a thing. And on top of all that stuff though, while the difficulty is still feels a bit challenging, but I will say it's nowhere near as tough as the forms of how it does it on the Super Nintendo counterpart, although there are a few exceptions on certain situations, mind you. But regardless of such though, that's as far as I can usually try to think about it. So, yeah, that was pretty much about it for the likes of Donkey Kong Land 2 for the Game Boy. Hope you guys are able to enjoy this particular playthrough. Oh, and by the way, if you managed able to skip that particular, not only the secret ending section, but also the video game heroes scene that involves around Diddy Kong, Mario, and Yoshi. However though, if you don't collect enough of those DK Hero coins, much like the Super Nintendo counterpart, I'm pretty sure Link takes over, so... But the only thing is kind of missing something here is the fact that there's no Sonic the Hedgehog reference, you know, with the Sonic sneaker shoes on that particular portion. Yeah, I was thinking about that. But, yeah, all in all, I did enjoy Donkey Kong Country, or Donkey Kong Land 2, rather. I will say, I do prefer this game a little bit more than the forms of how it does it on the first game, in my opinion, because in the first game, it was okay, despite there are some questionable choices, mainly with the forms of nerve-wracking difficulty. But regardless of such though, yeah, you should probably definitely give this game a try, either on the 3DS, or try to download it on the emulator, or try to able to get yourselves the original cartridge for it, but good luck trying to get the actual proper cartridge version, because otherwise, fake cartridges are now a common thing every now and then on eBay for the sake of time. So, yeah, that's basically as far as I can say about this game. So yeah, this is me, Ray the Flying Squirrel, from the likes of the Maxi Toys. Up next, in terms of the forms of our Donkey Kong series of Let's Plays for our channel, up next it will be the third and the final game of this entire Donkey Kong Land trilogy, which is of course Donkey Kong Land 3. So yeah, that will be up next for the sake of time, and yeah, it should be interesting. So yeah, I'll see you guys at some point soon. Ciao. Adios.